sending you sending you a message because I just was all over the place, feeling like we weren't connected, we didn't connect last time, and feeling like this was going to be all over the place. So let's
Oh
go
no.
into your actual session itself and see. Yeah,
Okay.
there she is. A combo session. Okay, so mom and dad are over there. Okay, good, 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 good. Because I was getting mom and dad coming forward, and I'm like, oh, hold up, hold up.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, alrighty. So, and I do see that you say that you're just looking for both combo reading and grandparents. Good, because I got a grandmother that's stepping forward too. Cool. Okay. Good deal, good deal, good deal. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into this and we're gonna work and see what takes place.
All right.
What I will say to you is because of my nerves and my head being splashed all over the place, if
Mhm.
this does go sideways, sweetheart, the worst case scenario is you get a refund,
Okay.
or we just try again. But I want to be transparent in that just because of the anxiety that I felt walking into this. But what should happen and what normally happens is that I start to connect in, I start to get information, I start to see
Uh,
things, recognitions, all that good stuff that starts to come forward, and we'll relay that over to you. You are
Sure.
just gonna let me know that you either understand the information or that you do not understand the information. What I would go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to put you at ease that like you've read for me one other time, but it's been well over a year.
Cool.
So, but yeah, I'm feeling really good. I think this will be positive.
It will be. It will be. What I will say to you is that in the event that I bring forward information that you're not necessarily able to connect with, let me know. If it's something that you do understand, but it relates to someone else other than who I label it with, I don't mind the clarity of that without it being like, we're taking this part to this person, this part to this person, this part to this person. No. If it's a matter of me saying, hey, I know a sister just got a hot air balloon for her birthday, and you're like, that was actually my brother. That makes sense because who the fuck's getting hot air balloons for their birthday? And it's still your sibling. You see what I'm saying? So I
Yep.
still do that. But if you're having to take the hot air balloon over here, but this person's birthday, it's too much. It's too much.
Okay.
Um, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
All right.
Um, so coming forward, understood. So starting off, I definitely do feel a gentleman who's coming forward for me. I feel like I want to relate him to your dad is what's going on. And
Hmm.
I do feel like I'm getting some facial hair with this gentleman, specifically around my mouth and chin is what's going on. When
Yep.
I said mouth and chin, though, I don't feel that his chin hair goes very long, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Yep. Understood.
Under, understood. And when I speak of him, I feel very much as though that I get what feels like this call for like I'm in my chest is what's taken place. Frankly, I do feel like his condition is going to be around his chest. I'm not very clear on what that be. Would you understand?
Understood.
Understood. And when I speak about mom, I do feel like I'm talking about both mom and dad, but I feel like I talk about them in the way of being together, is what's going on. I'm already aware that you said mom and dad in your message. I just want to make sure you can understand them to actually be together in spirit. And what that would mean is that they don't divorce from one another. Do you understand?
Yes, understood.
Understood. And what I also understand is that I do think I'm going over to mom's mom. The older lady that I recognize to be grandmother, she shows me to have a curly hairstyle is what's going on. Not even like waves, it's curls is what's going on. Hers is very short though. I would say I'm going about that far from my head is what I'm saying. So I'd say maybe an inch and a half to 2 inches is what I'm saying as well. Do you understand?
Understood.
Understood. In the beginning of the reading, I overheard this conversation talking about, I believe it's grandmom, and I want to recognize the fact that her name is still here in the world, I believe. Do you understand that?
Hmm. I don't. But I
Understood.
mean,
I was actually going to say that you were the one that's named after grandmother, and she says, like, she gave me like this feeling like no is what was going on. So I may be misunderstanding this bit of information, but please know that I do feel like I need to acknowledge, and I'm just going to you or to a sister. I just feel like I'm not going far from you with that, is what I'm saying. Um, If I acknowledged it in the way that it isn't coming from mom's name, or I'm sorry, from grandmom's name, but it still is a name that is in the family. Do you understand?
Hmm. No, she had an interesting name. I've never known her name to be another family member's.
That is okay. That is okay. If I said Barbara, would you understand that name?
Barbara.
Yes.
Understood that I have family members that are Barbara, but I wouldn't know whom we are referring to.
Understood, understood. Because I know that when I was getting that mention around the name, I also heard Barbara, though I don't feel like I'm connecting it in that way, is what's going
Okay.
on. I'm not sure. Do you understand?
Okay.
Would you
Yes,
under
I understood that there's a few Barbaras. I'm just trying to
I do hear you
where they might
saying
be.
the few Barbara thing, and that makes me question whether or not that might be the name that I'm recognizing.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So Barbara is a name that goes from a grandmother to like a granddaughter or skips a generation,
I don't know about skipping a generation.
but
I'm
it's
thinking of them more like, um,
mother-daughter type thing.
yeah.
Okay. Not sure on that, but do know that when I was talking about the name, that that's what gets brought to my awareness is what's going on.
Okay.
Your mom is also bringing me to your lap. And I notice that you're looking down at your lap is what's going on.
Oh, I'm writing notes.
I understand that. I understand that. I'm almost curious as to whether or not like what you would be writing on may be connected with mom, but she very much makes me feel like I need to go to your lap is what's
Oh,
going on as well.
my mom understood. My mother had a lot of writing. She did writing when
Under,
she was in this world, a lot of
under,
handwritten stuff.
understood. And would you still have that, hun?
It's a hurt that it has been lost.
Oh wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's so sad. That's so sad. I just know that she makes me feel like I need to go to your lap and highlights it in the way as if like I want to talk about like holding on to her is what's going on. In the moment of me talking about this, I am being recognized or what's being recognized to me is what feels like son and daughter. I'm not sure that that's all the children that's there, but I do feel like I want to recognize you to be a mother of two children is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
More than two. Yes.
Yes, like I said, I'm not sure that it's just the two. I feel like there's more, but I do feel very much as though that I want to highlight the two is what's going on. Now, interestingly, as I say that, mom makes me feel like I need to talk about them being around as she's getting ill, as she's passing is what's going on. I only heard two, though. I don't know if she's able to spend more time with the two than she is with the others, but would you still understand it?
Um, understood with one. Um,
Understood. And
but
when I say that, I am also getting the feeling like I want to talk about mom being in home as long as we can, is what's going on. Do you understand?
understood.
Understood. And I know that the next thing I hear is like this, like this. And so I feel very much as though that mom may have been advocating for herself this way, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Absolutely understood.
Understood. Is it right for me to say that we may be concerned in a way that mom may need to get some extra assistance, but we want to keep her at home, is what's going on?
Yes.
Understood. Because as I say this, I feel very much as though that I need to recognize the fact that we honor her wishes, is what I'm saying by this. You understand?
Huge, huge, important thing for me.
Understood, understood. I know that when I'm recognizing this, that there is a part in this that makes me feel some sense of guilt. And so I know when I acknowledge it, it's more so to make sure that it's heard that this is how mom would had wanted it to be, is what I'm understanding. Do you understand that?
Yes.
In that moment, I say that, would you understand family being with mom? I'm not sure that you're there. I got to be real with you. I want to talk about family being around mom as she passes.
Yes.
And I do believe that she needed either supplemental oxygen or may have needed assistance like oxygen breathing is what's going on. Do you understand?
Understood.
Understood. I know that when I talk, just like it was pitiful. It was pitiful that
Hmm.
you guys are just looking at her is what's going on. There's not much response coming from her is what's going on. You understand?
Understood.
Understood. When I say that to you, she also is making me, you guys are aware that she is going to pass. You understand this?
Understood.
I feel very much as though that I need to talk about as if we are waiting for her to pass.
Yes.
And I want to talk about how beautiful that would be, but difficult as you know what, as
Mhm.
well, is what I'm saying. And I know in the time it might not feel beautiful, but we have that as a memory. So you are there.
I am. I was the one.
Understood. Understood. I wasn't sure because she's not showing me there, and I must be looking at it through
I watched her leave this world. I was the person that
under,
was there. That is the way she wanted it.
understood. My thing is that I acknowledge it as she does in the way of recognizing this was gut wrenching. This was really difficult. But looking back at it in hindsight, there is beauty to be seen in having this moment with her. You'd understand?
Absolutely.
And am I supposed to recognize the challenge that it was for you to be there? That is not to say
Uh-huh.
that you wouldn't have been there. That's just to say, because of the way that she's emphasizing it, I'm like, I feel like I need to let you know I'm proud of you. I feel like I need to tell you that I feel very honored by this, is what's going on. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Under
absolutely.
Understood, because I know that she offers it in the way that I need to validate you is what's
Mhm.
going on as well. Now, here's the thing is that I just saw this stuffed animal and I wanted to talk about it in the way of mom's ashes being in that, and she says no. Would you
Hmm.
understand? And I'm aware that like when people aren't doing well, that they get like a get well card or even sometimes
I
stuff.
know what this is. I know what
I
this
think
is.
there's something of this that's coming up with that, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Yes,
Under-
understood.
Understood. And when I acknowledge that, do you understand me to talk about mom in the way of buried, being buried?
Yes,
Not cremated, but buried is what I'm saying.
yes.
Understood. And if I talk about having placed something in her casket with her, would you understand?
Hmm. I don't have memory of what I may have put in there, but I have memories of being there and thinking about
Understood.
items.
Because here's my thing is that I feel like I don't know if this bear is still around. I don't know if this bear is still around. I feel like I want to say that it is. I just don't see it in a place that I can say, hey, you have it sat right here or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
In the moment of me recognizing whether or not this bear is still held on to, there is a feeling like I need to recognize casket and then this feeling of having placed it I don't know if it's there when the
Mhm.
funeral is going on, but there's this feeling like I talk about that and then there's this thing about the casket that comes up. Would you understand?
Yes.
I don't understand, and you can clarify that for me towards the end. But and I'm so sorry to move on to the next bit of
Mhm.
information. Mom literally just shot another piece of information. Mom and mom. So mom and mom's mom would have been very close to one another. Do you understand?
Yes.
Understood. And here's the thing is that I want to talk about mom's mom being in spirit, though I'm getting a feeling like there's a mom that's still here is what's going on. Do you understand?
No living parents,
Under,
but
un-
yeah.
Understood. That I'm okay with. But my thing is that I feel very much as though that I want to talk about her close relationship. I get the feeling she's in spirit because your mom literally just made this comment like, my mom's here, not like that, but in this way of like, I needed to recognize how happy she was to be with her mom, which would only be validated if they had a close relationship. But when I talk of that, there is a feeling of getting something incorrect. And so when I say that, I feel like I need to talk about either, no, Because mom's mom passed before mom, right?
Yes, my mother passed before my grandma.
That's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was. I got it wrong, but I was on it, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, because again, there's like this feeling like I need to recognize.
Long. Yeah,
uh,
my grandmother mourned and mourned, and she never recovered from that loss.
Understood. That makes sense why your mom is going on about. And mom, oh my God, I just lit up. Because listen, I get mothers and their mothers all the time, but the way that your mother lit up to talk about her mom being with her was like, I felt excitement in this, is what's going
Mhm.
on. And when I talk about her mom being with her, she's highlighting that feel about the mom that's still here when your mom passes,
Mhm.
what's going on. But that would make sense that they are connected. Um, Now, when I hear of grandmom, though, what's being used for me is dementia, but grandmom doesn't have
Yeah.
dementia. You understand that?
Grandma was forgot everything. We don't know
Yeah,
exactly what.
it's not dementia, though, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, understood.
Understood. Because what I'm saying is I feel like I need to recognize what feels like this dementia, but not giving it in that title is what's going on. You understand?
Yes, we never really knew what it was.
I feel like I actually want to talk about a sense of silliness with grandmom, is what I'm saying. And frankly, honestly, if I'm going to connect this to anything, I would say it'd be more like an Alzheimer's is what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a silliness in her perception, her understanding of things. It's like that type way is what's going on. Do you understand?
Yeah, at certain points, like she was.
Right when I said that, I heard you standing, like as if you were standing next to her,
Mhm.
almost like in a way to like say to her, like now, it'll be fine. Hold on. I know that you are not a caretaker for your grandmother, but
Mhm.
I do know that you would have been actively seeing her. You would have actively had a relationship with her even after mom's passing, is what I'm saying. Do you understand? And
Understood.
right when I said that, your mom said going to her house. So your grandmother is living at her own home, is what's going on. You understand?
Correct. Mhm.
Understood. When I see the home, I'm standing in a hallway,
Mhm.
and the hallway is bringing me out to the living room area, is what's going on. I feel that this hallway may take me back like over to like the sleeping area, bathrooms, all of that stuff is what I'm saying. But I'm aware of the fact that the living room for grandmom is, first off, you'd walk into the front door into the living room. You'd understand?
Mhm.
And I feel very much as though that I need to talk about having the living room and the dining area straight ahead is what's going on. Do you understand?
Correct. Yes.
Understood. She goes, I love that home.
Oh, she never wanted to leave.
I love that home. She outlives her husband. You'd understand?
Yes,
Understood. By
significantly.
but had to have been by a long shot, just because of the
Yes, and she
yeah,
was very upset about that for the remainder
understood.
of her life.
Just because of the feeling I have about her. Now here's the thing is, oh, God bless you. She was a very capable, very able-bodied person, even later on in life, is what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
And I heard the word health, and I want to say that in the way of her. Like she would have been like exuded a sign of health, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Yes.
Understood. I feel like even like mobile or mobility, I feel like all of these things about her, and this is obviously prior to what takes place towards the end, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
She was a
Very much.
smoker. She smoked in her life too.
She chain smoked like a nobody. Like that's the one thing she never forgot how to do. I swear to God. That's one
A
thing she never
beacon of health, you fucking liar.
a beacon of health because nothing ever happened. She never got like my grandfather went down from the lung cancer. She did not.
Oh, girl, hold on. What is going on? I'm like, beacon of health. She's looking so good. You would have looked at her as hell. And then all of a sudden, I feel like I got a cigarette in my hand. I'm like, what in the hell?
I was thinking about her medical records because from her medical records, they looked great. They're like, oh,
Oh my goodness, so wild. So
I
wild.
know.
But here's the other thing with her. And I'm not talking about someone who's glitz and glam. I know she has a grandmother style to her, but she would have been very clean. And I feel
Oh,
like
yes.
there's a certain meticulous nature about this. Not that she's got herself primmed and prepped and all of that stuff, but you would not see her with like food on her shirt or even just like she ain't the people of Walmart is what I'm saying. You understand what I
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, she comes through very and she's using the word modest. So I would not say
Yes.
vain, I would not say vain about her. I would not even say that she's like very image concerned outside of to be respected, to be seen as someone who is clean, someone who has got themselves organized and together is
Hmm.
what's going on. But when I say that, God, more in her gets revealed. When I say that, she would have had a more vivacious, more fiery kind of personality. I wouldn't say that her personality was meek, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Understood. And just so you know, I don't get her being someone who would speak with authority, and I don't get her speaking in a way that would tell you what to do. I do know her to be
Mhm.
loving. I do get her to be softer in her way, but I know she would have been a conversation, is what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about when I get
Yes.
into her personality and that vivacious part about her is what quick-witted is what she just
Yes.
said. So I know that she, oh my God, girl. And when I said that, do you understand me to say that she goes downhill quite quickly, is what I'm saying? It's like
Yes.
succession, is what I'm understanding as well.
Yes.
She literally says, I wouldn't have it any other way, which is very interesting to me because I know that my bias and my opinion of her based off of how I've seen her is to say that she understand for her to be the type of person and the life and the energy she was versus how she leaves this world, very different, is what I'm saying. Um,
Hmm.
and I actually felt sad for her. I felt empathy because of to know this person to be such a vivacious person and the life to basically almost kind of get stripped of her in the end, felt unfair to her.
Hmm.
She just said to me, I wouldn't have had it any other way. And when I asked why, she spoke about the speed of things, is what I'm saying. So was it just like maybe like a few weeks?
It wasn't even like it was just, it was, she was, her Alzheimer's was getting worse and worse, but her health was stable. But
Understood.
suddenly, just quick turn, less than a week, and she passed.
But you would understand that before she passed, man. And I don't know that mobility totally stopped for her. I'm sure it did like the day of or 2 days before, but I just my thing is that I feel like if she was still getting around, it would have had to have been real sluggish. You know how
Hmm.
people who have strokes, they like lose parts of themselves, is what I'm saying. That's how she's making me want to say this. It's like I want to recognize she's still there, but she's not fully there, is what I'm saying. You understand?
Yeah, understood.
And here's the thing. Well, she just tells understood. So at the very end, she's unconscious, correct?
Yes.
Understood and not able to communicate. But up until the very end, there was still communication coming from her, correct?
Yes, my uncle said she screamed as she was leaving this earth.
Understood, understood. Would you understand me to speak about you having been there to hold her hand?
Yes,
Understood.
yes,
And obviously you're not there in the end
at the
because
moment, but
there's
very close, couple
you got
days.
with uncle, but she did right when you said that, literally right as you were saying it. I saw what looked like hands separate
Yes.
from one another, is what was going
Hmm.
on. And so I very much feel like I need to acknowledge that bit of things. Now, this entire time, I have been in the home, but I
Hmm.
feel as though that I need to recognize that she is not in the home at the end. Is that right?
No, she is.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Hmm.
So she must have been under like medical supervision or something. Is that right?
Yes, she had a medical nurse hospice.
Understood.
My
Because
uncle lived there and took
what
care of her.
what feels to be in this scene right now, does still feel to be home, but I'm getting very much medical, what
She
sounds like.
got all the equipment changed out. So her bed became a hospital bed, but
Yeah,
she
yeah,
kept
yeah,
it
yeah,
till
yeah,
the
yeah.
very end. So that's
Understood.
probably what you're seeing.
No, that's literally what I'm seeing is a medical bed. And I honestly don't see monitors, but I hear what gives me more like a monitor is what's going on. She's going on about hair right now. Hair right now.
She was probably pretty upset with the way that my uncle let it go.
Honestly, it's interesting because I still see her hair as I did before, but it's almost like there's a ponytail now in her hair, but
Yes,
in the curls is what
they let it get too long, and she
un
probably very much didn't like that.
understood. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on here? If I spoke about a younger female than you named Tabby or Tabitha, would you
Hmm,
understand?
I don't.
So let's generic it out a little bit. If I spoke about a younger female than yourself with a T name, would you understand?
Okay.
Because I feel like I want to connect that with a daughter for you, is what's going on.
Yeah, I know that last time we talked, there was some sort of sisterly or daughterly energy we couldn't place. And it's come up in other readings, and I don't know. I can never connect it. It's come up in other readings, other readers, and I still haven't connected it.
Well, I'm going to tell you all the thoughts that I just had about it, and um, and that way you can keep it in the recording and possibly get it figured out later.
Okay.
So I just got this talk about a young girl that I wanted to recognize to be a daughter for you. And
Okay.
and then I got this name, and then got the feeling like no, right with it is what was going on. And
Okay.
so I didn't want to talk about your daughter named Tabitha because that's what I was feeling like was the no, like no, it's not her daughter is what was going on.
Okay.
Um, but still feeling as if I needed to recognize this Tabitha bit that comes up. The only other thing that I question about the Tabitha is whether or not this may be a like an animal. And I think it's because of the name Tabby.
Oh,
And
my cat Tabby. What I had, I mean, I had a cat named. I've had things like that. Yeah, my cat's
as a
named
young
Tabby.
girl,
As a young girl. Yeah,
and here's the thing is that I feel like mom would be able to connect with Tabby too, is what
that
I'm
is mom. Yeah, mom and I, we loved cats.
just because mom keeps coming up. Mom keeps coming up as I say that. And my thing is that if you had this cat as a young girl, I'm sure mom would know of this cat,
Mhm.
but mom literally comes to my awareness when I say that is what's going on. And oh, and this was a young girl for you. Like a young girl cat. Not a
Yeah,
girl, not a daughter, but younger than you.
yeah,
Weird way of connecting with that.
I know. Weird.
I just got this father being discussed in my
Mm,
ear, is
yeah.
what's going on. And then as I talk about, oh my God, that's right. Mom and dad are in spirit. Oh, my heart.
Mhm.
Yeah, understood. Let's go. Okay, understood. So it's dad that passes, and I do believe it's actually the heart, is what I'm saying. Is that right?
Yes. I mean, he had lung issues, but he died of a heart attack.
Understood. Understood. I know that when I say that, I feel very much as though because he's letting me know he goes, dad, and he goes, the one with the heart, the one with the heart is what's going on.
Mhm.
And when I speak about the heart, there's a tattoo being mentioned. But interestingly enough, I feel like I'm going to the arm. When I say that, though, there's something about this that doesn't seem to connect with you correctly, is what I'm saying.
My
And
dad
so,
didn't have any tattoos.
yeah, I don't feel like it's dad. I don't feel like it's a tattoo on dad, is what's going on. Um, if I spoke about you having a tattoo that would not be for dad, would you understand?
That would not be for dad. Yeah, I have several tattoos.
Understood. And if I go up in my armpit area, would you understand?
With a tattoo or
Whether it be on the top of the shoulder or in the shoulder, like armpit area, would you
I have
understand?
one in my on my shoulder rib cage.
Yeah, rib cage. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because I'm like up in here is what's going
Yeah.
on. And
Mhm.
know that this part of your arm sits at your rib cage is what's going.
Yeah.
Now here's the deal is that I don't feel like you've gotten a heart tattoo, and I don't feel like you would have this tattoo for dad, is what I'm saying. But I know that when I recognize this, there is this feeling like I need to acknowledge this tattoo. When I
Mm.
see the tattoo, though, I don't see it in a way that's got a bunch of color to it. Do you understand that?
Yes, correct.
Understood. And here's my thing is that I know it would have some sort of like a spiritual, some sort of
Mm,
there feels like some sort of like almost tribal kind of connection, but more in a spiritual way is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
understood.
Understood. The moment I highlight that, dad makes me feel like I need to highlight that more for you, is what's
Mm,
going on.
interesting. Hmm. I
If I
wonder what.
First and foremost, I want to make sure that you can understand that this tattoo would connect with you on a spiritual level.
Yes, it's a astrological tattoo. It's my zodiac sign.
Because what he's doing is he's letting me know, like I want to lean you more into this, is what's
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. No way. He's not
and the,
even putting that together. That's crazy.
the only reason I would be saying that would be because that is an actual interest or that is something that
Yeah,
you
that brings me into my current moment, that connects me to my current present day.
yes. Yes, and it should. And
Hmm.
it should is what I'm saying because the moment I recognize that is the moment that I feel like I want to put you up, like I want to raise you up, I want to put you on this pedestal is what's going on. And please know that I feel like that's dad to encourage you, to motivate you, to inspire you, to feel more sure in yourself and your desires is what's going on. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Under-
understood.
Understood. Now, I don't think that you're going to understand this part because I didn't see it quick enough to get a clear image on it. But there is this feeling, there is this feeling like I need to recognize either coins.
Yes,
Something that feels like it's metal and like coin size, not penny size. It feels larger than that, but it feels like something that would be in your hand is what's going on. Do you understand?
understood.
And is it right for me to connect this with dad?
Yes,
Understood. Because my thing is that I feel like in the moment of being with this or near this, that I want to talk about dad being with you is what's going on. Do you
yes,
understand? Under
understood.
And I know that you would feel, not even feel. I know you would, well, I'm sure you would feel. I know you would hear dad, like literally audibly hear dad talking to you. Do you understand?
Understood.
I'm sure you pass it off as a memory. I'm sure you pass it off as a memory. But the
Hmm.
way he speaks of it right now is in the way of needing to, in the way of needing to like let you know that he speaks to you. It's not just a memory of his voice. It's like you would hear him talking about current things in his own voice is what's going on. When I said that, he says mom that I've got mom and speaks about her in a way like he has her safe.
Oh,
Is what's going on.
oh my gosh, these guys. Like when I get to tell you about this, you're gonna think it's so cute.
Understood. The way I can acknowledge it with evidence is to speak about dad having passed prior to mom is what's going on. Do you understand?
Yes.
Understood. And I'm not sure what's going on with
Oh, wait
mom.
a minute. Sorry, let me back up a second. Did you say did my dad pass ahead of my mom
Yes.
or the other way? My mom passed first. I was younger. My dad
Under
passed after.
Understood. Understood. Well, that's interesting because it feels like he's talking about having mom, but in a way of like having her taking care. Oh, that would still make sense, but not to my assumption. It would still make sense why he would say it like that.
He's
Um,
lost her several times. They've been unrequited love, lots of
under
issues.
Understood. I feel like more than anything, it's just to validate because of the long-term separation that would have taken place there. When I am speaking, I just heard the word radio, and I'll tell you what I think that is towards the end, but it's not coming through clear enough. Um, and then I heard this as a sentence. Wait, and that would connect with radio. He's talking about like pulling the tape.
Hmm.
I don't think the tape connects with the radio, as I said that. Do you understand me to talk about there being home video recordings of dad?
No.
Has to be. Has to be. There's a feeling like I want to talk about like watching a video, watching a movie.
Hmm. We used to watch a lot of VHS tapes, but we didn't record any.
I don't feel like that's true. Not that you're not right, but that you may not be thinking of what it is that I'm talking about just now.
Sure.
Do you
Hmm.
also do you, first and foremost, there is a military reference that's coming up in my attention, and I feel like you'd say that that would not connect for dad. Do you understand?
Yes.
Like he was not in the military, right?
No.
You're agreeing with me that he's not in the
Correct. He is
Okay.
not in the
Okay,
military.
cool. Know that there is this military reference. I definitely know it connects to dad. I don't feel like it's dad's service, but it's coming from dad as I get, and I feel like it's coming above him is what's going on as well. But I do hear this talk about pulling the tape. I did just talk about the radio, and I think it could be tape cassette radio. The moment I said that, though, is the moment I got this recording thing that was brought to my attention. Do you understand?
Okay. Recording. We never got our wedding video back. That'd be the only recording that I think I'm missing of my father.
Yeah. Interesting.
It got, damn it, it like the guy that was supposed to do it lost the footage. It never was delivered.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Um, if I spoke about you driving dad's vehicle, would you understand?
Yes, understood. Hmm.
Understood. And I believe that you would drive his vehicle when he was still here in the world as well. You'd understand?
Yes. Hmm.
Understood. I don't think that you have this vehicle, though. Am I wrong in that?
Correct. I don't.
Understood. Understood. But I know that when I recognize it, there's this need to talk. Oh, yeah. Well, I shouldn't have jumped the gun on that one. He just cleared up something you already cleared up, is what I'm
Okay.
saying. But when I say that, do you understand like having had either relocated his vehicle, transferred vehicles, moved the vehicles? There's something to do with you moving the vehicle that I need to recognize.
Yes, there's been many times where we've either I used his vehicle temporarily or had to move his or help him with his.
There was a time that this is when he's passed. Can you still answer that with a yes after he passed?
I didn't get his vehicle, my brother did.
Understood. And you wouldn't have like transferred it to him or drove it or something like that after dad's passing?
Um, After his passing, no.
And this is a truck, right?
No, it's a car.
Oh. Is it older?
Yeah.
Feels old. Um, if this isn't true for your brother, or if it's not true for you, it's true for your brother. But I feel like I'm talking about it being true for you. And I want to talk about a time being in that vehicle when undeniably dad was there.
Hmm.
And if
Yeah.
you're not able to recognize being in that vehicle after his passing, then that would only be able to be recognized by your brother. But when I talk about being in that vehicle is the moment that I feel like I need to acknowledge this undeniable moment with dad.
Yes, we've had many of those.
In the time that in the moment of me saying that, dad is also bringing it to my attention, which is very interesting. I think that's what he was alluding to when he was bringing me to your tattoo about your intuition. Um, do you understand me to say that you knew that dad was going to pass before he passes? And when I say that, he says no, that you didn't know, but there was this feeling of this to
Yeah.
come, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't come till hindsight, like his actions and
He
like
said
things.
he says that you called him. He says that you called him and like gave him like a feeling of either he wasn't healthy or something. Do you understand?
We talked, yes, a couple days
And then
before he passed.
I also just heard the word concern
Yes,
going on. So I know in that phone call that there was concern is what I'm
yes, there was.
understood. And you know what's really interesting is that when I was with grandmom, I was all up in grandmom's house with you and her and feeling all up in there.
Uh-huh.
I don't feel like that's the truth for yours and dad's relationship, is what I'm saying. Is that right?
Dad and I had a very close connection when I was younger. It got more difficult as I got older.
Thank you. Do you understand me to say that you would have placed boundary or you would have had boundaries in place for that relationship, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Understand.
Hmm.
And the moment that I say speak of the boundaries, I feel like there's often times where dad is actually seeking sympathy and maybe even financial help from you is what's going on. Do you understand?
Um, Sympathy, maybe. Financial help, no. Usually that was in the reverse. He was financially helping my brother or I.
Understood, understood. Well, I definitely feel very much. And does dad drink too?
Yes.
Understood, because I'm getting what feels like drink coming up in my awareness is what's going on.
Yes, that was why the boundaries.
That is why the boundaries is because the moment I just said that, he goes, "That's it," and he says, "Cold, cold." And so I feel like I need to say that dad was not one to offer sympathy or excuses to you, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Yes.
Understood. And here's the thing is that I know that your dad loved you. I don't think that you feel like he didn't love you, is what I'm saying. But what I do also feel is that I don't feel that he matched or met you and your emotional needs when I talk of the cold factor. Do you understand?
Understood.
He also says he was always right.
He was always right. It's
Yeah.
now a joke in my world that I'm always right.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. He says he was always right in the way of like there's no talking to him, is what I'm saying. Not that
Yeah.
he was actually always right. I don't feel that to be the case, at least.
No, the coldness was that it was, we always had a hard time relating. It was really hard after I got to be a certain age, about middle
Understood.
school.
If I spoke about a if I spoke about a headstone for dad, are you going to tell me no?
No, we have one.
Okay, cool. There's something off on this, but I am seeing a headstone for dad is what's going.
Hmm.
And I also feel like I need to talk about the difficulty in having gone there is what's going on. Do you understand?
Yes.
Understood. And I am aware at the fact that, and there was something you said that did allude to this, that we're not there for dad's passing, is what's going
Hmm.
on. I do know that you get there to the headstone, is what I'm
Yes.
saying. And he makes me feel like I'm placing something on top of it, but he talks about you like I feel like you just fall and cry when you get there, is what's going on. Do you understand?
Yes.
Understood. And I see you picking at the ground as
Hmm.
well, is what's going on. And interestingly, I thought you may have been cleaning it up. Um, I may be saying something wrong, but I think you may have taken something with you. Do you understand?
Um, taking something with me. Not, I mean, there was nothing there except the headstone.
Yeah.
I did have flowers that left.
That you would have left for him. Right, right. You
Right, but
normally
then I did clean. My job is to clean them. I do go and do that.
Oh, okay. Know this, when I speak of it, I see it in the way that it's very traditional to take something to a grave and leave it. But in your case, when I was seeing this picking of whatnot, I felt very much as though that I wanted to talk about like having kept it is what's going on as well.
Huh.
Um, no, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. Your dad, I know you have something of your father's. And frankly, I feel like this is something that you would be able to keep with you, but I'm just not seeing it and I'm not getting clear.
I have dad's ashes. I have a little piece of him with me, but I don't know if that's it.
That's what it is. He's
It's
not,
right across the room here. I'm
he's
looking
not,
at it.
yes, girl. That's because my thing was when the headstone, I was like, I felt like he was cremated and I didn't want to say casket for him.
He
I was like,
was, and he had a lot. I mean, he had the full shebang up. I ran that thing the way, exactly the way he told me to.
oh my God, girl. Oh my God, girl. So there's ashes there at the site and there's ashes with you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct.
Understood. That would make sense why there's something at the grave that is still with you. Is what's
Yes, yes, it
under,
is. I
under,
actually got it from the funeral director at the gravesite, so that's what you probably
wow.
were picking
Yeah,
up.
that is exactly what it is. Because my thing is that traditionally we bring flowers to a grave. And I did talk about sitting something up on top. That wasn't the flowers, so that you know. I don't know what that was. I
No,
wasn't.
they were
Um,
actually sitting on the corner of his headstone for a few moments in the velvet bags that they came in.
the ashes.
The ashes. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. He showed me you play what felt like placing something, taking something makes sense. But what then I saw like touching the ground,
Yeah.
and I felt like I needed to recognize you having kept something of his, which would be him.
Yes.
Understood, understood. As I say that, I do feel coming from dad though, I do feel very much as though that I hear some weird electrical noise coming out of nowhere. I do feel very much as though that I recognize his mom coming through. If I
Mm.
spoke about her having been a more stern old woman, would you understand that?
Yes.
Understood. I don't feel that she was very like rude in her strictness. I also do feel that she was a more godly, more Christian like woman. Do you understand?
Understood. Yeah.
Understood. And I feel like with this one that I do get a much more uh meek, quiet to themselves, definitely opinionated, definitely had their thoughts and feelings and would speak on that. But I do get this sense of darkness that comes up with her, and frankly, I feel like that has to do with her not being a very warm lady. Would you understand?
Understood. Yeah.
Please know when I speak about her, I'm not speaking about her. Do you know if she was an abusive woman?
She wasn't alive during my life. She had passed before me when my dad
That's
was younger
that's why
in
I
his
say
30s.
that's why I say, do you know?
No, I mean, he never talked about it,
Did
but
he
I know he was bullied by his sisters a lot, and he was not the favorite of the family.
understood? And he never spoke about his relationship with his mom?
No,
Understood. Well, when I just said relationship with his mom, I just heard the words good. So I feel like if you did hear anything of the relationship, it was like positive rather than negative, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
yeah.
Understood. I don't know if there's anyone in the family, and I'm sure there is. When I speak about her darkness, please know
Mhm.
please know that I don't speak about her in the way of that on a spiritual thing. I speak about that in the tone of her energy, is what I'm saying. I did just hear Rosie. And I don't believe that's her name. I almost wonder if there's is like a little joke or something like that to like let me know, like I'm Rosie over here or something like that. But I know I wrote it down because of the way it got said, sounded like I was calling someone that. Um,
Okay.
but when I sit with it for a second, she doesn't turn her face towards me like she's claiming it or anything of that nature is what's going on.
Okay.
Though I do feel like there would be a ring of importance that would be here, is what I'm saying. Do you
Hmm.
understand?
Importance around
I'm
there. My
I'm gonna say for her, because she's the one that's making a mention of that. I don't know how you would be able to validate that because you're not the one to have it, correct?
correct.
Understood. Understood. Can you look into that for me?
There's lots of mental health on both sides of the family. I don't know much about that grandma because she passed. I knew my grandfather,
Did
but
you
not
say
my grandmother.
mental health?
Mental health, yeah.
Like mental health struggles and issues? Yeah, yeah, that's what I was getting with the dark and the gray.
Lots
Um,
of depression.
yeah. That's what I was getting from her. And you're not able to, first and foremost, I actually feel you're not that you haven't experienced it, but I also feel that you would be someone that would be good for like therapy, like as a
I am
therapist.
a I am a therapist.
I
That's
know.
my job.
That's literally right as that got talked about was like me needing to highlight the fact that you get into
Yeah.
therapy because of that. But my situation is that with her, she walks sideways as if she's there, but doesn't make me feel, and it would probably be because of her and her lack of relationship with you, but it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like there's much engagement. The only thing I get from her in a way that I feel like would be something that you could evidentially connect is looking into this ring.
Hmm. Okay.
And you would know her to be a religious woman. Do you know of that?
Yes.
Okay, because they definitely gave that to me like you should know that. You should know that. Is
Yep. Very Catholic.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I was on the fence. I was on the fence with the
Mhm.
Catholic. I didn't say Catholic. I was questioning it. I was definitely questioning it. But there is definitely something about her. You know how like Catholic churches have like the stone buildings and stuff? You
Yep.
know, something about her gives me that. Gives me that is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. She was not a warm and fuzzy woman, from what I
Un
know. And my
under
aunts aren't either as a result.
understood.
So, yeah.
Yes, there is an aunt that's still here, correct?
There's two.
Good.
Yeah.
That's check. Check with my ring. Check with my ring, by the way. And
Okay.
so that you know, I don't know if
Mhm.
this, I don't know if it's tarnished or what's going on. But it does look silver to me.
Okay.
And it does look a little tarnished. So I'll only throw that in there for humor, for a sense of humor, if that's what's actually
It
trying.
might even be with those coins my dad referenced.
Oh, wow. Well, I want to give you a chance to ask any questions that you have before I open it up for you to be able to conversate, because time is being heckled in my ear and has been for at least 3 minutes, is what I'm saying.
Yes. I mean, I think I'm able to, place most things.
Understood.
Um, the only thing that is still, we're at the end of, so my dad and I, last time we talked quite a bit about his inheritance and how he chose to do things, and getting confirmation from him on what his thought process was and why he thought my brother should be in charge of things or have what he had versus what I had. And it's still causing quite the rift between my brother and I
I
all
under,
these years later.
I under,
So
I understand.
I
And
think I kicked his butt spiritually about it already. And I think he knows he's going to have a conversation with me about it when I arrive there.
absolutely, absolutely. I'll say this to you. I'll say this to you. That must be why it was that I was needing to recognize you in the car, but not having the car, in that moment. And what I know is this. What I know is this. I feel very much as though, because he wasn't going on about how he allocated things and how things got handed out or anything of that nature, but recognizing what it is that you don't have. I feel very much as though what I just heard literally was the word selfish. Selfish is what's going on. I don't feel that to be for you. I feel like that's dad acknowledging himself to be selfish is what's taken place.
Hmm. Okay. Because
Because
I was angry that he left all of his grandkids out, that he left, that those types of things were not a thought for him.
I
Um,
understand. I understand.
so
And I got to tell you just what it is that I heard, and that is to acknowledge it as selfish, to recognize it as selfish. And I think that what took place in this situation, as unfair as it may be, is that we had distance and an argument in our relationship, and we wrote someone out, not thinking of what would take place after the fact. You know what I'm saying? And more than anything, in the way that your dad comes through, was to acknowledge how he was, but was also speaking of it at first in a more loving, more positive type way. And so
mhm,
I can tell you that is who he is now. Unfortunately, that's who it is that you're connecting with in spirit, which is very different from your memories of him here.
right.
And it doesn't necessarily bring you complete closure, but know that these gifts will be returned to you threefold, just in a different way.
Mhm,
And I say that not just as a way to fill you up, but is literally as if I speak on his behalf. And it
mhm,
feels very much as though, and especially when I was going into this tattoo, when I kept going up here towards your rib cage, it very much made me feel like this was him putting you on track so that you could do and receive more in this relationship with him. Um,
mhm.
but I know that you got a journey. I know that you also have a very healing, very helping heart. And
Mhm.
please know that that will be returned to you. Please know that that will be returned to you. And I do feel that to already be the case. By the way, I get a relationship for you, though
Mhm.
I don't at the same time, is what's going on. And I feel like there would be a relationship for you. Is that true?
A relationship, like a spouse?
Yes.
Yeah, for 20,
Good.
almost 20 years. Yeah.
Good. Know that when I talk about that relationship, I get it in a way of individuality that work together.
Yeah.
Still individuals, but working together. And feels very much like a like a compliment is what
Hmm.
I'm saying. Um
Yeah.
I don't get it in a negative way, but what I want to say to you is please be aware that throughout this reading, your father has shined a light on you as a go-getter, as a doesn't need others to do for them, or depending on like a live at home, work at home type or stay at home
Hmm.
situation. Um, so much so that I got you being in a relationship, but not at the same time because of how functional you are as an individual, is what I'm saying. And I got to tell you, feels very healthy.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
envious. I'm envious. I'm envious.
We worked on it. We worked on it. I can't tell you it's been that way all the time. We've
I'm
seen our
sure it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't. And I'm sure y'all still have your issues. But
we do.
what I know is that you won't get blown down with the wind. That is for
No,
certain. That is for
no.
certain. And I just want you to have the trust of knowing that I get dad and the prick-like behaviors that were taking place prior to passing, but I also feel very much a sense of empathy, love, wouldn't say remorse because I don't feel like he's one to regret shit. But definitely one that feels like there could have been better decisions made in that. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I know. I know he knows. But I think, my aunts had said a couple things. I've had people shine a little light on the fact that, it was patriarchy. It was a few things like the way that they'd set up families and the way that they'd done things, it does make some sort of sense, but it doesn't at the same time. And he changed his will literally a week before passing. So literally days before talking to me on the phone. And then I talked to him on the phone and I couldn't get there. And that's what the rub was. I got a call 2 days later that he died, and we were having a conversation literally about me visiting. because he was going to go back to his assisted living from the nursing facility after recovering from a bout of pneumonia. And he had all these.
Where does Florida connect for you?
Florida is just a place where lots of my husband's family has relocated.
Understood.
And so we visited quite often.
Understood. Just because as you talk about dad, I keep hearing Florida in front of my ear is what's going on.
Yeah, no. But it just so he passed really quickly, without warning. And I was asking, are you sure you should be going back to the assisted living? Are you sure you're okay? Like I was having those conversations.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about it. And I didn't feel good about it all that week. And then I got the call and I immediately knew. So yeah, I did have a bad feeling that existed, but I do have that. I have those blips.
I want you to lean into it. I want you to lean into it. I don't know how often you watch me, Amber. It's
A lot.
it's rare. And I feel like in the last week or the last 2 weeks, it's been 2 times, is what I'm saying. And I know in the last 2 weeks, I've done well over 50 reads, is what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
It's rare that anything about intuition or anything like that comes up. And I did not see it in the way of astrology. I actually saw it in the way of it not having color, feeling like it was like circular or whatever, but making me aware that it had this very spiritual connection and to set your focus and attention in that direction. And the moment that you said astrology, I ain't gonna lie and say I got a whole lot of knowledge in that because I don't, but I know it's right where I felt it. And that made all the sense in the
Yeah.
world. And I know
I
that
have, yeah, tons of things going on right now. I mean, if you knew me as a human, I got 3 million different things going on, but I've completely shed a new life lately. And one of my newest ventures is actually because I've been business coaching and being a therapist now for several years, but for other therapists. But I just started doing business coaching for spiritual healers, tarot readers. I just broke into that. I literally started a program 6 weeks ago with a
yes.
few people. So that's where it is. I think the connection is.
I
So
know it is. I don't think, girl. I know it is. I know it is. I know it is. I know
right,
it is what I'm saying. Go
right.
hard and go all the way. Go all the way. And trust that I swear on it all. Your daddy is over there and I know, I get it. He was a dick, I get it. But it doesn't feel that to
And
be the case
he
now.
loved me. He loved
Yes.
me. He may
Yes.
have made shit decisions, but I never questioned if he loved me.
Yes, yes. I'm telling you, I know he's over there pulling strings for you, and I know he'll make sure that you're taken care of. So do not dismiss the what happened. It's set in stone. It is what the fuck it is, and it sucks.
I know, but I have come so far. I have healed so much from where I was at the beginning of that journey years ago.
I'm sure you have. I know that you are on the right course. I know that you're on the right journey. I know that your doors are open and already beginning to continue to open for
Oh my
you.
gosh. I mean, I'm just having opportunities falling in my lap
I know
all the
it.
time
I
right
know it.
now.
I know it. I know it. I know it.
I
I
got a
know.
speaking gig right before our meeting today, and I was not expecting it, but like a paid speaking gig, my third for the month of October.
It's
And it's all
amazing.
about all of my spiritual stuff, all of
Ah,
the, I do pole fitness too. I don't know if I told that. Pole therapy is my new gig. And
no, they
so,
didn't tell me. They didn't tell me about the poll though.
no, and none of them, I don't know if they watch, but well, I don't feel bad about it. Like my
That might
grandmother.
be going into the relationship conversation.
Yeah. And I don't think my dad would want to know. He's probably not paying
No,
attention. But my
no
grandmother,
worries. No worries. No visions of you on a pole.
no, but my grandmother, she would respect it, though she would have never done
Oh,
it herself.
oh,
But
I'm
she would have
sure.
respected the spice and the stick to itiveness and the
I hear you.
bravery and all those things.
Well,
So
I am so excited for you, and I definitely want you to stay in touch with me, update me. I want to hear, just send me something around like February. Let me know how you're doing. Because I just feel like even just in this short amount of period between now and February, there will be more changes in a positive way. So I'm excited for you.
yeah,
I'm excited.
yes. Well,
Hey,
thanks so
well,
much for everything.
you're welcome. Email me anytime. Email me anytime. Okay.
Absolutely. And if you ever need any help restructuring your business, I'm
Girl,
happy to talk to you.
I am gonna talk to you. I am gonna talk to you.
I
You
had
have
a couple
good
other
ones
pretty
too, but
big readers. I have a couple other pretty big readers in my beta program right now. So
oh yeah,
I've been
good, good.
working with for a few. So yeah. So
Well,
yeah, I'll help
my,
you out.
knowing what I know now, I'm interested. I'm interested. I'm hungry. I'm hungry as hell. That's why I'm like, I won't go eat, but I'm definitely interested and I want to be in touch. We're gonna stay in touch, okay?
All right, awesome. Thanks, Becky. Have a good night.
Stay well, sweetheart.
Yes.